We got the first shots of the brand new Mustang GT 2020 in Velocity Blue. Never would have thought I'd be buying a Mustang, but I guess that day has finally come. So I guess I can start off by telling you how in the world a guy who calls himself a pony hater ended up with a Mustang. And the basics of that is just I have always grown up with a family that was split. We either were Chevy people or were Dodge people or Ford people. And we were pretty much coming up in our ranks and everybody stuck with that. And like I said, I came from a little Chevy clan in my little family, but one of my uncles who always had a Mustang, he decided to say, well, I do what? I tell you what, I'm going to give you this Mustang if you will just fix it. And it's a 94 GT, and I've always grown up hating that Mustang because it was everything that I always wanted my dad to beat him. I always wanted everything to go on with that, not to have to see that car win. And as I worked on the car, it forced me to start learning different things about something I didn't like. And so basically, I learned about X pipes and H pipes because I never dealt with that when it came down to the cars I was driving. Most of them had exhaust. This is stuff Mustang people do. I've always known Mustangs have had this great sound, but I always said they got a great sound, but they ain't going nowhere. But I finally started learning how to guide it. I started learning little things about this. I ended up actually going to Mustang Week, and it made me wonder if I had just been hating the car for a long time that I didn't know anything about, and maybe I should actually give it a chance. So came to try to buy a Dodge Scat Pack. I'd owned one before and loved the Scat Pack, one of the greatest cars in the world. Always wished to have a Hellcat, but I can't afford that. So I went to go try to buy another Scat Pack, and Dodge seriously was having some issues when it came down to how the dealerships deal with people and the financing and the pricing. They got a lot of prices out there, but these prices, in order to get those prices, you've got to be a school teacher, first responder, active military, bad credit, blah blah blah. It's impossible. And they'll say, well, it is possible because you could probably be all those things. I don't see how, but I'm a realist. It's impossible. And so the Dodgers were running 42, really. They're not really running 34. And to me, I think that these kind of cars, they have a price point where not everybody can have one, but you can kind of get there if you make some plans, do some things, have some sacrifices, have had some kinds of discipline in your life. You can get one. But every dollar counts when you get at that kind of level. This isn't a situation where I've got some doctor job or I got some lawyer job. I got a real job, but you can't just bust into that rank and just want to spend, what's another $3,000? A lot. That's what it is when you're talking about 34, 35, 36, up to 42, $45,000. It's a lot. So I went for the Dodge constantly. First thing they did, and I guess this is all dealerships now, I'm old school, I didn't realize it, they're all more finance companies than they are actual car dealerships. They were more interested in my financing before they were even worried about how much they made off the car. It was all about, you got to finance with us. I don't want to finance with you. I do not want to go into a dealership and have to sit there and worry, is that guy going to come back and tell me I want to know I have the car before I walk into place. I don't want that to be the question. I want it to be, can we make a deal on the car? But I guess that's not what dealerships do anymore, so I'll move on past that. But anyway, went to the Dodge dealerships. Every time they'd say, this car is $34,000. You can get it here, $36,000. I'm talking about baseline Scat Pack, pretty much just a motor and an automatic transmission almost. And would go in there, 34, 36, turns into 42, 41. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go with that. And so it just so happened with my time with the other Mustang, I went and started calling around and looking at some Ford dealerships. And as I'm looking at these Ford dealerships, they come back with a price and tell me, well, we can potentially get you in one for $30-something thousand. And I'm like, well, maybe I would take a look at it. You know, seems to be a decent car. It's got a warranty. What you gonna worry about? Warranty's warranty. Keep it. And if something's going wrong, take it in, get it fixed, you know. So went on Dodge. I could not get a Dodge dealership to break under $40-something thousand. You know, I think the lowest I was getting was like maybe 39, and that's for baseline Scat Pack. So I ended up getting a place, and I'll talk about that in another video. I actually got a place where I ended up with this car at $33,000 for a GT Mustang with the radio, the Sync 3 radio, because I knew I wasn't going to be happy with a radio that wasn't at least that. I wouldn't have been happy with that little screen. Every time I'd have stared into that little screen and saw my backup camera in that little spot, I'd have been angry. So I bought the Sync 3 stick shift, because this is what I wanted. I'll talk about that as well when it comes down to automatics and sticks in this GT, you know, the S550 package. But yeah, this is how I ended up being a pony hater person, a Ford disliker, whatever you want to call it, you know, anybody but Ford. And I ended up buying a brand new S550 because, hey, Ford, when it came down to the dealership, they just offered better prices. I could get it pure T at a cash point that was far better, far superior than what I could get from Dodge. And, you know, if anything I can say about Dodge, love your car, but you absolutely need to work on making sure those rebates are the rebate, that the sales price is the sales price, and not just get people in there and then tell them, hey, we have these things. Yes, we could totally obviously afford to sell this car at this price, but we're just not going to afford to sell it to you at this price because you don't qualify that. Nobody wants to hear that. You know, if you could literally sell a car at $36,000, $37,000, sell it at $37,000 and sell it to a person who's worked hard, tried to come in there and wants to be a part of your product. Don't sit there and say, well, yeah, on paper we could make a profit and obviously sell this at 36, but for you it's going to be 38, it's going to be 39, it's going to be 40. You know, that's not what people want to hear. And so, you know, that's all I can say. One of the things that I like most about this Ford, it's got to be the rev match feature. That's something that if Dodge ever wanted to try to make an improvement on something it's doing, or Chevy, anybody, rev match. Ford has got that wrapped. That is so awesome. It's one of the main reasons I bought this car. And rev match basically is anytime you're going and you decide to downshift, this thing just makes this operatic, I guess that's the word for it, I don't know, this symphony of sound with the engine. Is just great. And I know it's for an actual purpose, but the point is, it's just beautiful. I can't believe the other car dealers, other car manufacturers have not decided to figure out a way to add that to their features on their car. It's just so awesome. How can you not like that? How can you absolutely just not like that sound, that little blip of symphony? I mean, it's just amazing. And you know, the average one of us aren't street racers anymore, at least quick click, you know, going, as they say, to Mexico or whatnot. So these are the things that help me get to work and be inspired. It's that little sound, that little blip. Because I'm not going to race these people anymore. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. I'm not running up on somebody trying to go 100 miles an hour. I mean, you know, you can take any car. I won't even name a car because somebody will be insulted. You can take any car and get it up to 100 miles an hour. That's not actual racing. That's not actual enjoyment. The enjoyment are the little bits of driving the car. And, you know, that's why I went with the stick shift. Like I said, I'll talk more about that because I've actually had the privilege of driving both an automatic and a stick. And I guess I'll say it real quick. if you want one for racing, get the automatic. The automatic is faster. You'll never outshift the computer. I mean, you just can't beat it. So let's don't lie to yourself. Get the automatic. But if you want one for cruising and pure T fun and enjoyment of driving, this stick shift is the best thing that you can do. And that's where I am in my life right now. So, make sure you do the research. Make sure you figure out what you want to get, what you want out of your car. And like I said, I didn't buy this car to race people. I bought this car for what it gives me. On my way to work, on my way home, it gives me an experience that says, hey, go in there happy. And it makes me happy. And so that's why I have it. So, I have enjoyed that. This part, will not lie, I do enjoy that. I do like this. Some people say stuff about changing out the shifter. I can feel the notchiness. The hard part of it, 6th gear is probably the one that makes it up. You always 6 is easy to slide in 4th, but anytime you're sitting there with the car and you decide that you've shifted, and fall in love every time. Also, I have not yet, and this one, but I'm probably going to end up changing the clutch spring because, I've driven stick shift for a good long while now, and I can feel how the clutch is at the high point, always at the high point, which gives me a little less feel, of where it's gripping or biting, when I'm trying to select the gear. So I'm going to experiment with that and see what that's like. Those are modifications coming soon. Obviously, modifications I've already got. I've got an H-pipe in the back right now, currently. Got to find something to put that on, so hopefully I can show you the difference in that and, what it sounds like. I also have a Drake wing for this thing. It's a, I don't remember what it was called. It was not a duck wheel, wicker bill, that's it. Wicker bill that I've got for this car. I'm going to get that installed. We got just kind of things that I think that will be good for this car to make me like it more, to kind of give it that feel of me, obviously, in a Mustang that normally I wouldn't have given the time of the day back in the day. Every time I would have seen one, I'd have been trying to run up on it, but but it's we'll see how this goes.